I want to talk today about when you should and when you shouldn't upgrade your phone. Smartphones have become something that we upgrade almost every single year, sometimes twice a year if you're a Samsung fanboy. These things happen. People want new stuff. The American way is more. That's why every store you walk into, there's a credit card to be signed up for, and there's an offer to get. More is the motto of America at this point. It's the most consumerist culture basically we've ever seen. Consumption is at an all-time high, and people just want more. So how in a world of more can you decide when more is actually a good decision? It's easy to say never upgrade, don't upgrade, you don't need it, you should save your money, this, and this. But it's hard to determine when it's actually a good idea and when it's actually smart and an intelligent way and time to upgrade your phone or your piece of tech. I'm going to be talking primarily about phones, but I will talk about other tech sometime in this video as well. For me, I live by a couple different rules. The big one is, why do I want to upgrade? I think people feel this feeling of having to upgrade constantly. They see their friends with a new phone. They see their parents with a new phone. They see people like MKBHD reviewing a new phone, and they look so good. The camera work is so nice, and everything looks so good, and you're like, I want that phone. You see another reviewer, I want that phone. But how can you determine when you actually need it? So if those are the reasons you want to upgrade, I would say don't get it. If it's just solely because you see other people and you want to sort of have what they have, then that's a 100% bad reason to upgrade. I get it. It's easy to see somebody else and be like, I want that. It's easy to get green with jealousy and be like, I wish I had what they had. But I promise you, you don't need the upgrade. So the second question I ask myself beyond why is, will this upgrade make a massive difference for me? And this is an important question to ask yourself, because this is something that you really need to consider and talk over maybe with your wife or your husband or with a friend or with your parents, because it's, will this change actually be important? Are you just getting it because everybody else has it and it looks cool? Or are you looking at this in a very pragmatic and practical way? A good example of this would be somebody going from the original iPhone SE to like an iPhone 11. That is a pretty big jump in technology. Not only is it a larger screen, better cameras, should have support for longer, but it's also going to have a bigger battery, longer battery life. These things are important to most people. And if you're upgrading from an iPhone 8 Plus to like an iPhone 11, the changes and differences in the phone really aren't that apparent. The big difference you're going to notice is like Face ID and Face Unlock. So these are the types of things you need to consider when you're upgrading is this upgrade actually a big change? If you go from the iPhone XS to the iPhone XS Max or the iPhone 11 or the iPhone 12 or whatever it's going to be coming out, is this an actual change that I need? Or is this just a change that looks kind of cool and it's not really going to change my life, but it's money and it's fine. So make sure you're upgrading for the right reasons. The next thing I think about when I'm upgrading my piece of tech is, can I afford this? This is obviously really important. Are you going from a phone that you own, that's paid off, that works perfectly fine, that you've had for 2 years, and you just want the new one because it's officially paid off, and you could trade it in and then buy the new one with some type of trade-in enhancement, and then you pay that one off for another 2 years? Or could you just buy it with cash? These are important questions to ask yourself, because if you want to upgrade and you can't afford it, then you can't upgrade. And that might not be fair and might not be fun for you, but you have to consider the fact that if you don't have the cash right now today, then you really should not be upgrading your smartphone because you can't afford it. Yeah, maybe the payments, I could afford the $35 payments. That's the whole point. They want you to be able to afford the $35 payments, so you keep upgrading your smartphone, so you keep using the new features, so you keep wanting to upgrade your smartphone. These things, they're businesses. Apple's a business. They want to make as much money from you, the consumer, as possible. And the best way to do that is to continue to sell you new handsets and new devices every single year. So make sure you can actually afford it. If you're somebody that likes upgrading every year, consider maybe not upgrading, but if you're really, really hard set on that, make sure you can afford the upgrade every year. Not the payments of the upgrade, but the actual physical cost of the phone. Because once you start having to pay for that physical cost of the phone, that $1,000, $1,200 up front, it's going to hurt a lot more than if you were to just make the payments every single month. And this way, I think it's going to help you make a lot better decision in the future, as opposed to just sitting there and going, oh, well, I have to buy the new phone and it's only $50 a month. I was paying $45 and it's only $5 more. That's like a cup of coffee. Well, you said that 3 phones ago, 2 phones ago, 1 phone ago, and it's always going to continue to say the same thing over and over and over. I can afford the payment, but you can't afford the phone up front. You probably shouldn't be upgrading. Now, obviously, I'm telling you a lot of reasons why not to upgrade, but there are a lot of reasons to upgrade. Somebody like myself, who's a video editor, with his technology, that's what I use it for. I predominantly edit videos for this channel, for the documentary I'm working on with my friends, and for maybe some clients here and there. An upgrade for me is not only just a business decision and a way for me to, well, business decision, I make a couple $100, but it's a way for me to save some time. And if that's actually going to improve my workflow, then that's a reasonable reason to upgrade. For example, this computer, 6-core, 6800K, I got a sweet deal on it used. I've been thinking about maybe an upgrade, ran some benchmarks. I've been editing 1080p video on it fine. 4K, it starts to choke up a little bit. And that right there would be a reasonable upgrade, to go from a desktop computer with 6 cores to a desktop computer with 8 cores or 10 cores or 12 cores. These types of upgrades actually make sense because you are not only generating money from that computer, but you're also saving yourself time, which, if you do something that's time intensive, could in turn save you money. Now, obviously, this is a pretty slippery slope because you can always find a reason to upgrade. I'm starting a YouTube channel. It's going to make me money. I might as well get a MacBook now. I'll make the payments on it, yada, yada, yada. So you really do need to be careful about when you're upgrading and finding reasons to upgrade, and really make sure that the upgrade makes sense. My mom texted me the other day, and this is sort of why I brought this video up, is because she texted me the other day and she was like, I like my phone, but I saw their new iPhone came out, the iPhone SE. Should I be upgrading to that? Is that like a worthy upgrade? Do I need to upgrade? And I was like, let me ask you, does your phone work fine? She goes, yeah, I have no problems with it. The battery life is still pretty good. Never drop calls, text messages go through, everything. And I was like, how about the cameras? It's so good. She goes, yeah, for what I use it for, it's always really solid. And I was like, so why do you want to upgrade? She goes, oh, I don't know. I just thought it was cool. And I'm like, so you don't need to upgrade, but you just want to because you think it's cool. And she was like, yeah, that's the reason. I'm like, well, you're welcome to. I'm not going to stop you, obviously. She's on her phone plan. That's why she was texting me. And I was like, you're welcome to. I'm not going to stop you. But you probably don't need to. And she goes, dang it, you're right. And I think that that's really interesting. I think that this tech conversation actually goes into a lot broader category when you start talking about cars, when you start talking about computers, when you start talking about homes. These things, you need to ask yourself questions. Why do you want bigger? Why do you want more? Why do you want more expensive? Because those questions are really valuable to you. And if you can answer them and the answer actually makes sense, not just like, oh, well, I don't know, I thought it would be a nice new thing. My kitchen's kind of small. Well, can you cook everything in it? Yeah, I just wish it was bigger. Well, these are things that you need to make sure that if you do choose to upgrade, the answers to these questions are answers that make sense, and maybe even be like, well, what would Scott say? I'm not perfect, but on this video, how would I answer these questions back to you? And maybe that sort of can help you get into the mindset of, well, how would this person answer this question? Maybe that can sort of help you think. I always try to think, how would somebody that's looking from the outside in at my situation that thinks like me, how would they think? And then I know we take a couple steps back, and I'm like, okay, this is what I would probably say. You don't need to upgrade. Or I would say, you know what? It's a fine time to upgrade because you've had that phone for 3 years, or you've had that phone for 4 years, and it's starting to slow down, and you have some glitches here and there, and it's starting to actually hinder the performance, and you can afford a new phone, then go buy one. So that's when you should be purchasing and upgrading your not only your tech, but your stuff in general. So just make sure you're really thinking these things through, because these are the types of decisions that can really affect your life in an exceptionally positive way or an exceptionally negative way at the same time, because you can make decisions that not only hinder you today, but hinder you tomorrow. That's how you should be making decisions, is how is the Scott of tomorrow gonna think about my decision that I'm making today? Should I be eating that cupcake, or should I maybe not eat that cupcake? Should I be be getting this new house or this new car or this new phone, or should I not be getting that? Because you don't feel the pain today, you feel the pain tomorrow. And you need to really think about how you're going to be feeling tomorrow and the next day when you're going into work, and portions of your paycheck are just signed over to Apple Co. because you owe them $50 a month because you signed up for a phone you couldn't afford. All right, thank you guys for watching the video. Let me know if you liked it, what your thoughts are on upgrading. If you just can't resist the urge, maybe take a few steps back and learn to resist the urge, because that's going to be a very expensive urge and it's probably going to affect you negatively from here on out. All right, so thank you guys for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.